So glad you could join me today. Today we're going to have some fun. We're going to look at some greenstones under a microscope. I've got 4 of them that I'd like to show you. They're all very different, and so we're just going to take a look at them. Please, I'm going to do my best to get my terminology correct, so don't hammer me with corrections on my terminology. But we're just going to take a look at these greenstones under a microscope and just sort of explore them together. So let's go. Okay, first of all, we're going to look at this rough specimen. It's just a specimen that was found in the field, and it's basically a fractured piece of a greenstone, and you can actually see like the radial effect on the greenstone itself. So I'm just going to place this under the microscope here. Okay, so this is the greenstone, and it's the rough one here, and this is the basalt side that I'm looking at right here, and this is where it starts to turn to greenstone, and you can see a lot of different mineral inclusions that are kind of hanging on the edge of this greenstone right now. You can certainly see the radial pattern within the greenstone. And to me, the rough greenstone just had the most interest as far as just for a visual. There's just a lot to look at in a rough greenstone. And so I'm just going to move along this edge. So you can see some of the darker edges here. I think that's just shadowing. But it's a little bit interesting where the greenstones make contact with the basalt on this edge. If we were to say zoom in just a little bit further, bring that into focus. It's not as clearly defined of a line as you would expect. Let's bring that back out. This gives us a little bit more of a perspective. So I just flipped this greenstone over just to get the other side of it, and I'm getting a little bit better view of the surface of this greenstone. We'll just sort of walk through this together. And here you can see it's a little bit darker outside edge, more towards the black spectrum, and looks like as we walk closer to the center of the stone, we're getting more of a green. And it really could just be how the light's hitting it too. Like right here, I've got a pretty good focus, and if I just move this light just a little bit, it does change the look a little bit. Okay, we're going to move along here. This is a polished greenstone specimen, and what I like about this one is it's just got such a great pattern going across the whole stone. It's just a lot to look at. So just start here. We'll just sort of move through this greenstone And already you can see this great pattern on this stone already on 60x, and it's very interesting to me to see the lines that intersect are bright. And then, you know, this is maybe just a bit of pitting here, which actually is quite interesting to look at under magnification. But right here, I mean, you can kind of see this outline. This it's an arcing line. A lot of people refer to that as an eye, or, you know, the radial effect of a greenstone. I'll try to keep this in focus as we explore this stone together. But this is a great bright line intersecting these cells on this stone. And as I was doing this before, I was noticing some different inclusions that looked like copper inclusions, and we'll see those on maybe some other stones. I'm not seeing those right this minute. You can look at this part over here. This could be interesting to see some of these different inclusions brought in. We'll bring this into 100x. Bring this into focus and take a look. I believe these are little pieces of copper inside these different little inclusions, if you will. And it's hard to focus on the whole stone at once. I think it's because of the angle I'm on. But definitely can see some copper inclusions. I'll try to stop right here, right on these. Looks like right there, some copper inclusions. Let's bring this back out, and we'll go over on this side of the stone. And there was some more here. You can see where the polisher didn't quite make contact with those pit marks there, and you can see. Let me bring this in closer. You can definitely see some mineral deposits inside that. I changed the lighting just a little bit. There we go. For some reason, I felt like you could see it better zoomed out. Let's try this. Yeah. All right, let's move on. Let's check this one out here. See if I can bring that in closer for a better look. Oh, that's great. See, it's my opinion here that this is copper right here on this part. And there could be some chlorite here and maybe just some basalt and other copper associated minerals. But nonetheless, it's very cool to see this up close, especially these intersecting lines between right here where you know is the chlorastrolite portion, and then in here where you know it's likely just a variety of minerals, possibly chlorite, you know, copper, maybe some other heavy metals. So I'm going to move on to this stone. This stone it's just a bright, fantastic green stone. It's also got these pink inclusions in it, which it could be prehnite, likely, or possibly some datolite. I'm not going to get into what it is or isn't. I just want to show you what it is under a magnification. So this one was probably the most fun to look at, just because of the colors and the brightness of the stone. And it has more of the brighter green in the stone, so I'm just going to zoom right in on this small pink inclusion here. And let's see if we can get a better look at how that intersects with the chloroastrolite portion of it. See if we can move it. And then I'll zoom back out and we'll keep on moving. Bring this into focus. It's interesting to see on this pink inclusion here how you can see some zeolite characteristics in the inclusion. It's also very interesting to me how the lines are pretty sharp between the chloroastrolite portion and the we'll just call it the prehnite portion. Just move on here and find another one. Here's one right on the edge. It looks like most of it was ground away. There's just a little bit of residual on it, which really couldn't be helped. We'll keep moving through here. See if we can get a focus on the edge to find one that's over here. It's very neat. Again, I'm pointing out just how crisp the lines are under magnification. It truly is terrific to see those perfect intersections between the cells with almost zero tolerance. It's just incredible. And this was especially interesting to me on this particular stone. If I can get a good focus here, you can see just the pattern within the pattern. Under this magnification, there's just a basic, like a white-green pattern within the pattern that I found very interesting. I believe that's back where we started, but there was one over here that I wanted to get to. I thought that it may have a piece of copper right here. I wasn't exactly sure what that was. But if we zoom in on the pink portion of this, there's just quite a bit of texture, and there's quite a bit going on in this part of the stone. Just move across this surface here and take a look. There's looks like some associated minerals right in this area. And again, this is under 100x. I'm sorry, 160x. And then also these intersecting lines between the pink and green. It's just amazing at this magnification how these lines meet. Let's bring that back out. Let's see what we're looking at. All right, we just have one final stone here. This one is, it's just got those spots of cholesterolite on the quartz. And we're just going to take a look at this one up close. And it was actually more cool to see the copper inclusions within the piece. Okay, we've got this greenstone up on the microscope now, and I'm just going to take a look at some of the, just call it the quartz part. I'm just going to move over, and right away there was a copper inclusion right on top. I thought that was really quite cool. Just going to move the light and just get a better look at this piece. Nice bright piece of copper there. Okay, here is an edge of a chloroastrolite spot. And here we've got a great view of it. I'm just going to move the light. And what I found interesting here was it wasn't as defined of a line as it was when the chloroastrolite was celled together in the same nodule. So this is just a spot, and so what you've got is you've got a well-defined outline right here, but then you've got kind of a mess going into the quartz area. And it's interesting how it just is, the mineral wasn't as well organized here as it was on this well-defined eye. And I just found that interesting. And that was pretty consistent with the spots that I found on this piece. I just get this focused, and then I'm just going to move the light. See if I can get it a little bit better. Move on to the other spot here. And then here the line was much more defined on the edge. And bring that into focus and then see if I can but this spot was much more black. We get out here, it's a little bit more green. I can bring this into focus here. Change my lighting. There we go. There's some very interesting inclusions in this part of the stone. If I can zoom in on that little one right there. pretty bright blue spot there. I'd have to think that that was some sort of copper bearing mineral or a copper associated mineral. But pretty random to see that bright blue in this stone. Quite unexpected. What's interesting is I don't see any copper in this part specifically. Well, maybe right here. It could be some copper right here. Well, thanks for hanging out with me today and hanging in there with my descriptions of these greenstones and terminology. But either way, it was a lot of fun to look at these inclusions and these greenstones under magnification. And I really enjoyed this time with you. And if you enjoyed it, please go ahead and hit the like button and subscribe. We'll try to bring you some more of this awesome content. Thank you.